The digital age operates on a single, relentless currency: outrage. It's a fire that needs constant feeding, and the sprawling ecosystem of entertainment news is its most prolific supplier. So when a headline like USA Morning Show Scandal, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos under fire blasts across social media feeds, it triggers a well-worn neural pathway. The click is almost involuntary. The mind races. An affair? A toxic workplace revelation? A shocking on-air meltdown? The reality, as it almost always is upon closer inspection, is far more complex, far less salacious, and infinitely more revealing about us, the audience, than it is about the subjects of the story. The so-called scandal involving Kelly and Mark was not a single explosive event, but a slow-burning fuse of manufactured controversy, a perfect storm of fandom, criticism, and the unyielding pressure of maintaining a billion-dollar brand. This is not the story of a fall from grace, but a case study in how modern celebrity is built, sustained, and perpetually on the brink of being torn down. To understand the backlash, one must first dispel the myth of a singular, scandalous act. There was no leaked tape, no indictment, no tearful apology to a betrayed spouse. Instead, the fire they were under was a cumulative heat generated by three distinct yet interconnected phenomena over the first year of their official co-hosting partnership on Live with Kelly and Mark. 1. The too much couple critique, when chemistry becomes cloying. When Mark Consuelos officially joined the Live chair as a permanent host in April 2023, replacing Ryan Seacrest, the initial narrative was one of a fairy tale. High school sweethearts, decades of marriage, a shared professional journey. It was a potent, heartwarming formula. However, the daily, unscripted nature of a morning talk show began to expose a fissure in audience perception. A segment of the viewership once charmed began to vocalize a feeling of exclusion. The inside jokes, the frequent reminiscing about their passionate early years, including their infamous Las Vegas elopement, and their palpable physical affection, started to be framed not as endearing, but as performative and alienating. Social media threads began to populate with comments like, "Do they have to be so much?" And, "We get it, you're in love, but it's 9 a.m." The criticism was that their dynamic had shifted from relatable couple you have coffee with to perfect couple you can never measure up to. 2. The mean girl allegations and the bulldog backlash. Kelly Ripa has never been a wallflower. Her brand is built on a foundation of sharp wit, unfiltered opinions, and a willingness to be playfully combative. For years, this was her superpower, setting her apart from the often sanitized personas of morning television. With Mark by her side, however, this dynamic intensified. Their banter, which to many was a sign of a secure and playful marriage, began to be interpreted differently. Critics pointed to instances where Mark would playfully roll his eyes at a long story, or Kelly would mock his frugality or forgetfulness. Clips were isolated and presented without context on platforms like TikTok and YouTube, with captions like, "Does Kelly respect Mark?" or "Mark's subtle signs of resentment." The narrative emerged of Kelly as a domineering, mean girl, and Mark as her henpecked, albeit handsome, bulldog, a term that ironically sought to both emasculate and pity him. This analysis often carried a subtle undercurrent of sexism, questioning why a confident, outspoken woman was being framed as abrasive, while her husband's more subdued demeanor was cast as victimhood. The Ryan Seacrest nostalgia factor. Human beings are creatures of habit, especially when it comes to their morning routines. The 7-year tenure of Kelly and Ryan had established a specific, successful chemistry. It was a dynamic of friendly, platonic co-workers, the glamorous, witty New Yorker and the polished, genial Californian. Their relationship was safe, predictable, and comfortable. Mark's introduction shattered that dynamic. The romantic and marital history he brought into the studio fundamentally changed the energy of the show. A portion of the audience unsettled by this shift began to express a nostalgic longing for the good old days with Ryan. This wasn't necessarily a criticism of Mark, but a resistance to change. In the context of the other critiques, however, this nostalgia solidified into a weapon, with comments like, "The show was better with Ryan, it felt less cliquey," adding fuel to the idea that the new iteration was a misstep. The conditions were ripe, but it took a sophisticated media machine to transform viewer grumblings into a full-blown scandal. This process is a blueprint for modern reputation management, or demolition. The role of the digital echo chamber. Social media platforms are not neutral town squares. They are algorithms designed for engagement. Negative emotions like outrage and indignation generate far more clicks and comments than positive ones like joy or contentment. A single critical tweet from a viewer with a handful of followers meant nothing. But when an entertainment news aggregator account, hungry for content, stitched together a dozen such tweets into a thread titled, "Viewers are turning on Kelly and Mark," it created a perception of a mass movement. The algorithm did the rest, pushing this manufactured consensus to a wider audience, who then joined the chorus, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of discontent. The complicit media and the source gambit. Legacy entertainment news outlets facing existential threats from digital upstarts have become adept at chasing these online trends. The next step in the scandal life cycle was the publication of articles in reputable magazines and websites with headlines like, "Inside the Tension at Live, is the Kelly and Mark experiment failing?" These articles were masterclasses in insinuation. They would quote a production insider, a show source, or a network executive expressing concerns about ratings' softness or the polarizing nature of the host's chemistry. These anonymous sources provide plausible deniability while giving a veneer of legitimacy to the gossip. The articles never outright state that the show is in trouble or that the hosts are disliked, but they frame the narrative with enough doubt to make the reader believe a crisis is afoot. It's a feedback loop. Social media creates the buzz, traditional media legitimizes it, and the resulting headlines send people back to social media to discuss the breaking news. The power of the isolated clip. In the age of viral video, context is the first casualty. A 90-minute live show provides a rich tapestry of moments. By isolating a 30-second clip where Kelly interrupts Mark or Mark makes a sarcastic comment, and presenting it with a provocative caption, a narrative of conflict can be constructed from a mosaic of otherwise harmless banter. These clips become the evidence for the scandal, shared millions of times and accepted as truth divorced from the full, friendly context of the entire broadcast. The great USA morning show scandal of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos ultimately fizzled because it was built on a phantom foundation. There was no transgression, no victim, no crime. It was a tempest in a teacup, but one that tells us a great deal about the temperature of the tea. The episode serves as a crucial cautionary tale for the digital consumer. It reminds us that headlines are designed to hook, not to inform, that social media is a distorted mirror of public opinion, and that the machinery of celebrity gossip will always prioritize conflict over nuance. The true legacy of this non-scandal is its exposure of our own consumption habits. We are quick to judge, eager to dissect, and often uncomfortable with complexity, especially when it comes to the relationships we think we understand through a screen. Kelly and Mark endured the fire not because they changed, but because their reality was more robust than our fiction. In the end, the scandal wasn't about their relationship being flawed. It was about our relationship with celebrity being broken. The headline screamed, "Scandal," but the real story was a quiet testament to the enduring power of authenticity in an age of curated outrage.